time for our final speaker,
Yeah.
Bradley. So Bradley, hi Bradley.
Hello.
Bradley's been very busy. We're going back to the US for this. Bradley's been winning awards left, right, and centre, and been on the festival circuit promoting his latest films. If I'm correct, Bradley, you are the AI product manager at the Walt Disney Company and an award-winning generative AI filmmaker. You specialize in interactive storytelling, immersive media, and emerging creative workflows. I think we met you a couple of years ago now. And your background spans an incredible range of AI, XR, game development, narrative design. And in your own work, you explore how generative AI can transform audience participation, nonlinear storytelling, and educational experiences through interactive cinema. So very much some of the themes we've talked about today. Your 2025 interactive film, Albert's Riddle, won gold at the Seoul International AI Film Festival and Best Interactive Film at the British Film Festival. Bradley's most creative work recently was produced in partnership with the Hollywood Writers' Room for the Meta AI social platform and can be viewed at Replicant Dream Cinema. Again, I think there'll be lots of links in the chat. One final thing, your generative animation work is going to be prominently featured in the upcoming independent film Turnbuckle, starring Emily Hirsch, Kate Beckinsale, and Terrence Howard. Wow. Bradley, how do you keep across everything?
No, it's been fun. It's exciting.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm handing the floor over to you.
Awesome. So let me just click on share and get everything ready here. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Let me say that. Awesome. So I'm here to talk about generative AI and interactive filmmaking, and hopefully for the audience, I'll make this a little less scary and a little less threatening. So let's get in. I'll zoom right through it. So the thing that I want to kind of go over first is that Albert's Riddle was based on a famous logic puzzle that was actually published in Reader's Digest, which is an American magazine in the 60s. And obviously, we all have special talents, especially Albert Einstein. But the point I'm trying to make is that our passionate curiosity is what drives us, right? It's what drives engagement, especially in interactive filmmaking. But first, let's talk about the like what I like to call the zebra in the room, right? AI has been receiving a lot of backlash around the world. I like to think of it more like access and imagination instead of artificial intelligence. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, AI is probably one of the most disruptive tools that we have had within the last decade, but that's what it is. It's a tool. It's a tool for empowerment. It's still powered by humans in making choices, right? And so when I think about that framing, you can see that it's lowering the barrier for access. And we already saw that in some of the examples that we saw today, right? With students actually using AI to create ideas, create stories, creating narratives, but there's still the power behind that creation, right? So AI is allowing a historian, a biologist, a chemist, create their own interactive lessons for their students, for their audience. They're the casting director. They're the production designer. It's a tool that allows you to create your vision and ship that vision. Just as we saw with the, Premiere Pro, the editing suite, you used to have to go into a huge room called and use Avid as a tool. So again, it's just a disruptor. And I think when you're looking at it from the student's point of view, again, you're making the decisions on the prompts, right? You're designing those prompts that are being utilized and creating those images, creating those videos, creating those sounds. So moving forward about Albert's riddle, why did I decide to use a logic puzzle? Well, logic puzzles are perfect for interactive design, right? It allows you to kind of think about it from a point where the audience is earning, right? They're getting that aha, that dopamine, right? And it's showing that yes, they can solve these riddles. And of course, that's sparking curiosity. So one of my key goals about telling you about interactive design principles, whether you're filming this with a film crew or you're creating this with generative AI, is making sure that you have a goal, right? So from an academic perspective, it's an instructional goal, right? So what is your overall success? And then kind of building back from that. So you may have a learning goal, and then you may have objectives that are tied to that. The other thing is agency, right? You want to make sure that your viewers are able to go where they want to go, right? And of course, consequences. If they make a decision, you want to make sure that that decision has a consequence. Like one of the first interactive experiences that I created was a VR for ladder safety, right? So it was very important when you're climbing a ladder in a virtual environment that if you fell, I wanted to make sure that you actually had a heartbeat. You actually heard the crunch of your bones. So you can do that with interactive storytelling, right? You want to make sure that every path that you take is coherent. And the other thing that I did with interactive storytelling with Albert's Riddle was I used what I call multimodal cluing. So with each video sequence as a part of that interactive branching, I wanted to make sure that there was a narrative clue, that there was a video clue, and that there was an audio clue. And that's fun and from a reviewing perspective, right? So some audience members would just go straight to the answer as fast as they could, right? But some people want to experience the whole entire journey of all the possibilities. So the workflow: design the puzzle, create the narrative. So that's writing it, that's storyboarding, that's creating your shot list. So your shot list is what you're going to be using when you're using these AI tools to create those images, right? You're going to create an image, and then you're going to turn that image into video, and then you're going to be adding either voiceover or you're going to be lip syncing. And then, of course, once you do that and you have that edited footage, you're going to build that and put that in terms of the branching, you're going to build that into Stornaway, right? Just as we saw with the early demo in terms of how to bring those into the islands and draw the lines and connect those different connecting tissues to the different choices, all of that. And then finally, one tip that I'd like to recommend is making sure that you test it, and you test it maybe with a small group of viewers that you trust, right? That way, especially depending on the complexity of your interactive journey, you'll be able to see, okay, this particular path works, or this particular path had questions, or these users didn't quite understand when they took this option. So I highly recommend testing. So now I'm going to give you an example of what a prompt looks like. Now, a prompt, you can write a prompt in any way you want to write a prompt. And there's so many different video and image models available to you today. But essentially what you're trying to define is the look and feel. Is this photorealism? Is this a NASA documentary? Is this a gothic horror anime? All of that is in your power to create. So you want to create, building back from that success of what that final vision is, you want to create a coherent path to that. And it all starts with a keyframe, right? A keyframe that then becomes video, that then becomes included and edited into an overall story, that then becomes built into an interactive branching narrative. So taking this particular example, which is in my film, Albert's Riddle, I'm on the moon, Enceladus, near Saturn. And now I'm going to take this image and I'm going to use another prompt and model, and I'm going to turn this into a video. Make sense? So now let's show you a little bit of a snippet from Albert's Riddle. Now, before I show this, I want to kind of give you what my goal of doing this particular film was. Albert Einstein was curious his entire life, right? He was curious about time. He was curious about music, light, energy, all of that. And I just want to remind everyone, when I created this, we kind of lose sight of that curiosity when we're growing up, right? We kind of lose sight of that joy of discovering. And the one thing that I wanted my audience to walk away from this particular experience was reminding them, sometimes just knowing the answer is not the only reward, right? It can be that joy discovery that you could actually discover that answer. So without that, and further ado, let me show you just a snippet of putting this all together.
Okay, you got it.
Yes. It is the source of all true art and science. The first step of scientific discovery is understanding that the universe isn't just made of facts and figures. It's made of patterns. Wonderful, mysterious patterns, like in a fingerprint or in the daily lives of a neighborhood. You see, I have no special talents. I am only passionately curious. And so, like that compass revealing invisible forces, I invite you to discover hidden patterns in an ordinary neighborhood. 5 houses, 5 neighbors, and one rather unexpected zebra. Why a zebra? Because the best mysteries are the ones that make us question our assumptions about order in the universe. But every scientific breakthrough begins with the same step: looking at the ordinary and seeing the extraordinary. That's what my compass taught me. And so I challenge you to solve a riddle about a zebra. And you might need a sharp pencil or a sharp mind to keep track of the clues in each scene. Each house is a different color, and in each house lives a person of a different nationality.
So this particular ends is you have these different options, and then again, the user can select and see a vignette, and then they'll be able to get the narrative, the audio, the video clues, and then they'll be able to solve the riddle. So that's Albert's riddle.
Thank you so much, Bradley. And I'm sorry that was tricky for you, but we are going to put the link for people to play in their own time. I love the way that you've broken down the elements here. I think it's a slightly meta kind of look at engaging an audience on multiple different senses and through the ways that they want to play it. I like the again bringing in that idea of agency for your audience. I know you've won awards for this. I would be really interested to know kind of what you've taken forward to your future work.
One of the interesting experiences that I've had with this is that when this particular film was created, it was created a little over a year ago, and the exponential advancement of this medium has been incredible. I mean, to take where we were just over a year ago, now you have, maybe 100 different image models, video models, music models, voice models, and the fidelity is improving just at an incredible speed. So one of the questions I had is like, wow, I created this in a point in time and I already want to update it. I already want to make it, it's almost become uncanny valley in some of the little images because of just where we were then to where we are now. So that was one of the interesting learnings that I kind of discovered, is just like, wow, with my work that I'm doing today compared to when I did that a year ago, that short time frame has just been incredible. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Yeah.
And I think there's something around, I can see in the chat, Kira Lee has put some, I won't read the whole thing out, but there's something interesting about the fact that you do come from a kind of both filmmaking and game background. I think we see a lot with Stornaway, that kind of, rather than just blocks of Gen AI, kind of linear video, what you're seeing people doing is what we've seen today, which is playing with both the relationship of the media, but also the audience and and the story that you're telling. And I think you use video voiceover really interestingly in that. For me, I'm a singer, so for me, anything audio is like, yeah, if you're going to have someone bridging the gap and helping the audience know where they're going, then the audio counts for a lot. Is that AI audio? I wonder.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The classical music is real. But it's funny that you mentioned that from that point of view. So yeah, my background is in theater. So I studied performance studies and experimental theater. So I have a really strong foundation on audience perception and audience engagement. And so I kind of build that as a layer as well.
Yes.
So yes, it's the video, it's the audio, all of those layers and components are incredibly important that you treat with equal value.
Thank you. Yes, I think that's there's no one way, is there? If there's anything today's summit has shown, is that once you start playing with these things as elements, once you start getting the students or the creators to bring their way of talking and making narratives, the world is your oyster, and there are many paths that we can take through it. That's my way of trying to bring something together. And also to feed in Kirali's mentions about, how fast this world is changing. And I think, thank you, Bradley, for kind of reassuring us, I think, that we have choice here. There are choices to be made about what tools we use, what we don't use. And particularly, all of our speakers today, thank you for reminding us how important the human is in the room. I think